dream last night that I had a DeLorean time machine. I was at some exotic locale and it looked incredible. Had the hat, the jacket, the hoverboard. But then I woke up.
Okay, so let's try and see if this works. First of all, I'm way too high up there, so let's not have that. I apologize if this show quality is shit. For reasons I cannot divulge in a public forum, it is not my fault. So we will just have to do this guerrilla warfare style today, guys. How's everybody doing? I'm trying to not have the family. Okay. Here's how we're going to do this. Lordy. Okay, so first of all, if you guys can hear me, great. If I'm choppy, I'm sorry. The trailers look really choppy, so it wouldn't surprise me if that was the case with the whole show today. JJ, I apologize for cutting into your Renegades Reviews time. I will explain why I had to you later. But I did want to address this today because I really couldn't think of a topic, right? As I was having my latest bout of insomnia. And I decided to read through the comments about last night's pay-per-view, AEW Revolution, and all the negativity heaped upon the finish of that show and the signing of Christian Cage. So it looks like I have to hop back on that soapbox that I hopped onto back in January of 2020, where I felt very compelled this time to call out the toxicity of the wrestling fans as a community. If you watch that show from start to finish like I did, it was a darn good show. Did the exploding barbed wire main event finish go off like a fart in church? Yes, without question. Did Eddie and Mox oversell the intensity of the explosions? Yes, without question. But rather than the majority of wrestling fans focus on how good the rest of the show was, and I get it. I understand Bully Ray's point of view of, Vince McMahon's quote, they only remember the finish. And I get that. And the finish is everything in entertainment. When you talk about movies and you talk about plays and you talk about, different things, everybody remembers the third act, right? They never remember the opening act or the refrain. They always remember the third act, right? And I get that. I get that message. I do. But the problem is that everybody seems to want to be negative about wrestling again. And we had this talk, you guys and I did, when I first resumed doing video. Oh, God, this is going to be like the fucking Blair Witch today. Started doing videos again. And, you guys, my audience, you guys get it. And I appreciate your intelligence levels. I do, all of you. I really am grateful for that. But, and again, I don't know why I let Twitter bother me, but I did. It's very frustrating. Sting, I went into that pay-per-view so worried about Steve Borden's physical well-being, and they protected him, and that match was so well laid out and filmed, and stage. It was so well produced. The ladder match with Scorpio Sky winning was an amazing match. The Battle Royal, the Texas Battle Royal came off very well. Paige and Hardy was great. Everything about that show was so good. But because the freaking Gilbert entrance being part of the finish of the exploding barbed wire, the rest of that match even was good. You know, you guys were sitting here, a lot of you with me last night, watching that match as it unfolded, and I was getting very, very messed with in my head because I don't do these death matches anymore. I don't. I refuse to watch them. So it was hard for me. And you guys saw me recognize, oh, it wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad. It should have been. And I think that's the problem that fans are having, is that the explosions didn't measure up to the hype. Okay, you know what, guys? Shit happens. It's a live pay-per-view. You know? And a very good point was brought up. You know, the McMahon empire over at WWE, you know, they, you know, make countless mistakes. But the thing is, they're WWE. They have that luxury because they are the brand. They are the trendsetter. They are the standard. They are the blueprint, as Sasha Banks' shirts would say. You know, they can afford mistakes because their audience will still come back in droves and see them try to fix it. AEW is still trying to establish their identity. You know, I saw more than one person say last night was their worst pay-per-view. And I will agree with that statement. But it doesn't mean it was a completely bad pay-per-view start to finish. The very last part of the show was a terrible finish. The last maybe 10 minutes with the explosions being what they were and Kingston and Moxley overselling the intensity was terrible. I will even go so far as agreeing with the fact that the overhyping of the Impact player, and it turned out to be Christian Cage, which I'm not trying to shit on Jay, but he's not CM Punk. He's not Kurt Angle. He's not those guys. He's not the, you know, first ballot Hall of Famer guy, but he is a tremendous talent. He will make a difference in AEW in multiple ways. And people just shit all over it. It's so annoying. It is. It's terrible. And I'm just disgusted with the toxicity of wrestling fans. And then I hop on later and see the reaction to the interview with Oprah Winfrey and the Meghan and Harry and how that went down. My goodness, what a circus that was. And again, you know, it's dividing the country. Here's my thing, and maybe I'm off base here. I don't know. Booker, also Ethan Page was a letdown. If anything went up with Christian. They want to have Christian in a main event slot, and I know that ladder match was a great spot to put him in Report Card Radio, but I wonder honestly if his clean bill of health is what it really is, and they didn't want to put him in a ladder match scenario first straight out of the gate. Is my guess. I don't know why this bothers me so much, but it does. Prince Harry, the Duke and Duchess are members of the British royal family to a certain extent. I mean, I don't know what their status is now with everything that went on last night. Why do we care? Really? I'm not trying to be funny or, you know, snarky. Why do we in the United States give a flaming far? I'm trying to say not the F word about the royal family in England. We fought a war. We fought a couple wars to not have to deal with those assholes anymore, and won those wars. Let me be clear. We won those wars, and we're still concerning ourselves with how the Duchess feels about her in-laws. Why does it matter? Who gives a shit if the 155-year-old Queen of England doesn't like her daughter-in-law or her granddaughter-in-law or what the hell ever Meghan is? Why is it a thing? I don't understand. I don't, and it bothers me. And yeah, it's okay. Let's see. Yeah, you're right, Jeff. A lot of match was sloppy too. Sky almost cracked his head. So we're gonna get Christian Job into Omega. You know, I don't want to think that ill of AEW. I'm trying to accentuate the positive AEW during the show, so I don't know if that's coming across clearly or not, Reporter Radio. So I'm sorry if I'm coming off snarky to you. My whole thing with this show, basically, is what I'm trying to say is that we as wrestling fans, I'm putting myself in this boat too, because I am just as guilty as anybody else. We are so spoiled on high levels of gratification, almost orgasmic levels of gratification when it comes to our wrestling, Attitude Era kids, that when things don't go how we think and we as spoiled brats think it should go, oh, it's the worst thing ever. And, you know, I enjoyed that show. You wouldn't know it watching me watch the main event last night, but I did. I thoroughly enjoyed last night's presentation. And again, having seen the Exploding Death matches take place before, the sparkler, you know, it came off bad. And Tony did a decent job of trying to cover it by, you know, blaming Kenny's blueprint or whatever. And, you know, Tommy Dreamer, God bless him, trying to help, you know, cover up the BS with, you know, talking about Kenny looking like a kindergartner drew it. And, you know, like there's a conspiracy theory with Don. And see, I know for sure that if Twitter was a thing in 1997, 98, 99, 2001, the Attitude Era would have been a lot different place, and it wouldn't have been as fun. I'm being straight with you guys on that. Anyway, so I think no. I understand that. And for everybody that paid $50, that's a letdown. I'm not going to disagree with that. I guess my bitch is where the wrestling fan community, the wrestling fandom as a whole, is choosing to just beat this into the ground like a freaking glue factory bound horse. And it's like, guys, there was 3.5 hours of really good stuff last night. And because the explosion, and again, I didn't want that match to take place. I had no desire to see Jon Moxley and Kenny Omega blow themselves to smithereens. I didn't want it to happen. I was mortified at the spot with the exploding bat to the face. That nearly made me lose my shit. You guys saw it on the air. I almost flipped out. I really just freaking flipped. And again, I understand that, you know, they that's really what they did, basically, is they didn't do the warrior smoke, and it could have been a lot better. There were a million different ways they could have done it. They didn't do it the right way, and I concede that, and I agree with it. I'm not saying I don't. The way they pulled off the exploding death match, barbed wire match, the ring, exploding ring, it came off horribly. It was poorly executed. I dare say it was poorly conceived when you really think about it. Hello, Colin. Good to see you, brother. They probably won't cut it from the DVD. They'll probably leave it as is. You know, I mean, you know, and again, that's what they do with DVD. I don't know what their DVD stuff does. I don't buy the DVDs. Anyway, I'm getting way off topic here. It's been a very long day around here. Let me just point that out now. We've had a very interesting day here at where I'm at for the weekend, house sitting. It's been a little hairy around here, so that's why if I seem more uppity about this than I should be, it's because there's external factors, and that's my fault, and I own that. I'm sorry if it comes off shitty to you guys, because you guys deserve better from me. My point is that yes, it was a oh, man. Sorry about that, guys. Got a phone call and I forgot to turn the phone off. I'm using my phone. The computer, everything's all packed up. Again, it's the way the day's gone. So my point is I'm not disagreeing with anybody on Twitter or Facebook or social media or whatever that the very last part of the pay-per-view was crap in the way it was executed and the way it was laid out, right? My point is that we as wrestling fans need to stop being so goddamn entitled. I mean, really, guys. I've said this countless times on my shows, on the shows I, affiliate with, on the various channels. If you don't like the way something is going, take the remote control, cut the feed, and watch something else. Don't buy the merchandise. Don't buy the pay-per-views. Don't watch the TV shows to give ratings points. Make your voices heard in a productive way. Tweeting about how lame the finish was and making memes about it and acting like 6-year-olds accomplishes nothing. Tony Khan and Vince McMahon and the guys at Sinclair and Scott D'Amore and everybody at Impact don't give a shit about you guys. And I'll even throw them because I do it too. Those of us who use social media to project our negativity and our BS. They do care when they look at the sales figures and they're down. They do care when they look at the pay-per-view buy rate and it's way below projection. They do care when arenas open back up and they don't sell out or they don't sell well at all. Okay? That's the difference, guys, is all I was trying to make a point of throughout my year and a half of doing this now full time again, is we all, and I throw myself under that same bus as the rest of you, we choose the wrong way to do this. Now, well, Jeff, this is what you do for a living, and if you don't, outwardly complain about it, then you don't have anything to do. That's not true. Because I can go on Twitter and, that was lame. But then I come here and I lay it out logically, like a grown person, right? My point, guys, is this, and I'm going to try to wrap it up here because I didn't want to go more than a half hour today. I really have too much to do around here to be on for more than a half hour. And I cut into JJ's time, so I'm a complete prick for doing that. My wish for professional wrestling, sports entertainment, whatever you want to call it, is that we as fans make better choices in how we express our frustration, our dislike of the product that we are not forced, but that we, are given to choose from on a weekly basis. Because there's wrestling on every day of the week right now. Like literally every day, even Saturdays, Sundays. I'm on every day of the week too. So if we all, and again, I am a microcosm of the problem. Like I'm this much, right? But if the 10 people watching right now, tell 10 people, right? We can make the wrestling fandom, like a wrestling fan community, a better, less toxic, less dramatic, less whiny place. And again, if I'm on the soapbox, so be it, right? I will gladly accept being called a soapbox dweller. Let's see. Ryan Peterson says, "Not wrestling fans though. Look how fans react to movies and other things. If it doesn't go their way, they react to a bunch." Exactly. And see, Ryan, you completely hit it on the head, brother. And Colin, I agree that the finish of the pay-per-view shit the bed. Not gonna deny that. But Ryan makes the point I've been trying to make here for the last 26. Or I've been on the air 26 minutes. And the damn trailer took freaking forever. We, as a society, I don't know how it is in the United Kingdom or other parts of the world. Even I have friends in Canada. I don't even know how it is up there. But we as American entertainment consumers and sports consumers are spoiled little brats. And I'm just being honest. And I can say that out loud without, worry about being labeled as such, because I am a Los Angeles Kings fan. That's not a good thing to be for the majority of their 50 years. All right. The Kings have sucked. Okay. And we as Kings fans have been bitching about how much they suck. And we get 2 Stanley Cups and all of a sudden the sun rises and falls in our ass. Right. And then when they get bad again, a lot of them bail. I am guilty of that. I don't have patience for second class or lesser than work ethic. And my work ethic, I talked to Greg about this morning, or this afternoon, I should say. My work ethic has been very poor the last few weeks because of my what's going on up here. If you guys saw the stream this morning, and again, by the way, thank you all for who commented and reached out to me today about my stream and my year battle and my continued battle with this, and it's ongoing. But yeah, man, and again, I understand paying $20 or whatever for a movie outing, the movie and snacks and drinks and the whole thing, that does piss me off. I don't like going to a movie theater and spending, no kidding, in California, upwards of $15 just for my ticket, and then upwards of 20 or 30 to consume junk food, which I don't need to do. Lordy. And then the movie sucks. Honestly, this pandemic has been the best thing for me when it comes to movie going, because I can watch the frick I want to watch and not have to worry about getting all gussied up and purdy and going on an outing and being disappointed. I have said so many times this year, as far as the NHL goes, I am so glad that we're not having to go, shove our asses all the way downtown Los Angeles to come back with our heads down because the Kings suck so bad tonight. I mean, I said it out loud to the point of pissing my dad off and telling me to shut the F up about it and just, trust the process, which we've been saying for years. We're spoiled brats in this society, no question. Does Mox come back in a tag team role this summer? If it really depends how they play off the post-show promo he did to the crowd, because it's all over the internet. Like, what, it's not gonna be forgotten what he said, right? So if I'm Mox and Eddie and I'm Tony Khan, I play it off just like Mox did. I called Mox National Treasure in a tweet last night because of the promo. It was so funny. Do that, work the angle that Mox got up in, that Omega got up in Mox's head, right? Make it work. Even though the ending was bad, I still support AEW. Also, being a Minnesota sports fan really sucks. Oh, yeah. Mikey, Stabboy's roommate, Dory, is a Minnesota Wild fan. I do like that the Wild throwbacks are like the North Stars. I miss the Minnesota North Stars so much, man. I used to love the North Stars. I did. And when they moved to Dallas, their fans became assholes. And I get it. The Minnesota fans were mad, but the Dallas fans that adopted them were pricks. My grandmother, to her dying day, from the time the Stars moved to Dallas, hated Dallas. A, because their fans were dicks. B, we couldn't beat them to spank our ass. It's terrible. But yes, I love the North Star throwback style jerseys. Great stuff for the Minnesota Wild. All right. So, thank you all for letting me wax proc. Let's see here. Let's see. Wanted your opinion, who would be better to join Sean Spears and FTR, Nick Aldis or Cody Rhodes? Personally, I think they're both strong candidates. I want Nick Aldis to remain in the NWA and make sure the NWA gets a good, strong launch again. And I don't say that lightly. I was so happy when the NWA came back I was so upset when the NWA had to shut down because of a combination of the pandemic and the situation in management. So, I hope this pay-per-view and the return of NWA Power is good for them. As far as Cody joining Sean and FTR, I also don't see that happening either. So who would be better? The answer is neither. Really. And I don't think either one of them needs that alliance of Tully and Sean and FTR. I think they're good as a triple threat by themselves, honestly. So I wouldn't mind seeing the NWA title get exposure in AEW. That'd be great. Have the NWA championship on TNT. That'd be awesome. All right, I need to wrap this up. I'm getting a knock on the door. Let's see. WWE fans, sex fans, well, right. I agree with that. So there you go. Let's see. Let's see. CJ says, "What are your thoughts on MJF making fun of the fans?" Well, Max is a heel through and through, and that's just the way he is. All right, I need to get out of here clearly because I can't. They can't hear me talking on the air, so they keep knocking until I get disturbed. So anyway, guys, I will see you guys later on, probably tonight for 8-11, and tomorrow for Stat Boys stuff and a preview of Sacrifice.